Welcome to Mission Victory. This is an old building at our camp that was about to be torn down, and we decided to breathe some new life into it. This is the Bank of Victory, and the way it works is a group of 4 to 6 kids will come in and they'll get their orientation, and this is their scoreboard up here. And what's different about this from a typical escape room is that a typical escape room, if you go in there, you basically, the clock starts at an hour and you count down, and basically as long as you don't run out of time and get out of the room, like, you win or whatever. Well, what makes this different is that the clock starts at 0 and you get penalty time if you trigger something that you're not supposed to trigger, if you mess up on a puzzle or anything like that, and everybody's going to make it out. It's just a matter of how fast they're going to make it out. So what happens is the team comes over here and they hit this green button. We're having a little problem focusing in this darkness, but they hit this button and that's going to start the clock counting, and then they're going to come over here to the ATM and they have to solve 9 puzzles to get into the vault. And so they take the ATM card and swipe it, which I guess we're not. So they swipe it, and it takes you to a thing. In this situation, they have to use the touchscreen to drag the puzzle around. It shows that they've done 0 of 9 security things. So basically, the way I built the room is that puzzle is not the same puzzle as the next group would get. The results for messing up are not necessarily the same thing that would happen to the next group. This room changes every single time you came in here. If we didn't do it that way, one kid would just give out the answers to all of his friends and it would be so much easier. So just a couple of security things. There's this one, this puzzle. There is, if I were to come in here, and there's a combination lock that when I'm going to just do this manually. Combo.php. When I hit this, it's going to trigger the ATM, this ATM, to actually drop some playing cards. So you'll see what happens when I hit this and hit enter. So the cards fall out the bottom, and it tells me that the combination begins with a 3 and a 4, and the cards are basically all the digits of the combination. And so I have to go through here through the 9 different combinations and try to set this lock to get it to dissolve that security system. Or I could come in here, I'll show you another one that's basically starts off on the computer. If I do Morse, so Morse.php, what's happening here is that there's some lights up here. You might have a hard time seeing it, but these lights are going to flash Morse code messages. And so what's happening is this white light lights up between the letters to make it easier for them. And this word is different for every group that comes in here. We just pick a word out of the database. And so they have a chart of Morse code over here, so they have to sit there, figure them out. They have scratch paper they can write on, and then eventually they enter the word in there. And so the whole idea is that another team is trying to help them out, and they're trying to flash them a password, and so they flash them the password in Morse code. There's all kinds of things where they have to, there's hidden books in here that they have to try to look up words from. This is a laser on a and there's a trivia question up there. If you can see, there's 3 targets. Basically what happens is they're asked a trivia question on the ATM, and they have to aim this laser at the target, and so they get penalties if they were to shoot the wrong target, which means they gave the wrong answer. So I'm real close. You got to be dead on. It's a little hard to do while I'm holding the camera. There we go. Incorrect. So I got the wrong answer. So what happened was, because I got the wrong answer, I have to keep going on and trying to get another one. Now, if kids are roughhousing or anything like that, we can give them a penalty, and you'll see that like penalties come up on this board. Another kind of fun thing, this is a puzzle where basically they know that the top, basically you have to start from the top and work your way down. And so that was a wrong answer, so there's blue lights flashing. That one is correct. And so now, because I know this one's correct, then the game tells me that either this one, or this one is the next right answer. So I'm going to try. So I got it wrong, so I have to start over, and I'm getting penalties every time I guess wrong. So I start here, and that's wrong. So now, like, I have to start here, and you work your way down through the puzzle. Or there's these landmines that you have to decide which ones you're going to step on. Some of them are going to give you penalties, some of them are going to be safe.
5 steps remaining.
So that was a safe one. There's Pandora's box, where you have to decide, do I want to open the box, which could be anything from a bunch of penalties to a bunch of penalties removed, or there could be $5 in the box, whatever, or you can choose not to open it. And it's going to play chicken sounds. There's a steady hand thing where you have to try to move your hand here without touching the wire. So anyway, there's a bunch of puzzles along those lines. A couple fun ones. There's a towel on the floor here for the moment, because there's this one where they have to stand in front of this motion detector with their entire team in the box, and if they move, then they get penalties. But there's a little teeny tiny, you can barely see it, teeny tiny water nozzle there that we can shoot water at the kids and stuff like that. Then there's this thing where they have to try to scream really loud and try to blow out this little microphone up here. It gets from, like, it's going to get louder the louder they scream. It's really easy when you're tapping on it. So anyway, there's a lot of puzzles like this. A little laser that they have to duck under every time they come past the room. But the idea is that every group that comes through it is going to get different challenges, and things are going to be different for every group. Even if they get Morse code more than once, then the word will be different the second time they come through the room. So eventually what's going to happen is when you've solved 8 of the 9 puzzles, that ATM is going to drop a set of little keys. And so I've got one here, and what's going to happen is, let me make sure the door's shut. The group comes in, they're going to have to go through the keys and figure out which one opens the door. And so there's different, you just switch it out, and then, like, eventually you'll get the right key, and it will unlock the door for you, hopefully, if I have the right one. This might not be the right key, that'd be hilarious. Make sure we're good. Okay, so the vault opens up. Now at this point, one person is allowed in the vault, and the other team is out, the rest of the team is out here, and there's this rare earth magnet on the floor, and the key to stop the game is in here. And so if you look at it on this side, it's a maze, and basically the person in this room has to talk the people through how to get the key to pop out up here, and then they can get the key. Then everybody comes in the vault, and they grab the passports and the signs and all that kind of stuff, and they have to stand in front of this monitor up here, which we'll have the time in a second, and then they're going to pose for the camera, which is missing its top at the moment. I'm going to just trigger this with my hand. So they're going to trigger, and then it's going to start taking pictures. So it takes pictures, and then you'll see what happened was it stopped the game, and it calculated in the penalties for them. So all the reason why we've done it in 8 minutes or so, but then there was like 4 minutes of penalties, and that's what actually stopped the time, gave them their score, and it's above their head. So anyway, that's the walkthrough of the game. I'll do a different video showing you some of the technical stuff.